everyone, I'm Liz Brown Swanson. You're joining me and Rancho Palos Verdes Mayor Paul Seo for the Mayor's monthly update on RPV City Talk. And we have lots to talk about. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm a little informal this morning. I have my hat on because we have coffee with the mayor. And I think last time I was dressed up. And I just want to make everyone feel comfortable. So I came out and plus it's hot today. So
well, Mayor Seo, you definitely make people comfortable. You're very accessible and you're doing a great job with all your outreach and the coffees. This is the second one. We're here at Ladera Linda. The mayor's been doing coffee every month. We've got lots of mugs ready for the community. And later on the show, I want to hear more about what residents are telling you at the coffees.
That'd be great.
But it's great because in RPV, we always say we're RPV together, and that's what you're doing. But let's just start here with an overview. You know, spring is in the air. Everybody's feeling good about that. So talk about how you're feeling about the city, the state of the city right now.
I feel good about the state of the city right now. Obviously, we don't have rains, which is a great thing. So it decelerated our movement on the landslide. The eastern portion we stabilized is still zero movement, but the western portion we still have about 1.5 inches, 2 inches that's moving still. The outlook is good. We have a balanced budget. We're lean, but we do have our resources, but we can't continue to spend. So we're still looking for different funding mechanisms. Our subcommittee for the landslide just got back from Washington, D.C.
Right.
And they were out there talking to our federal representatives and making sure that we can try to get some type of funding from them to alleviate the spending that we've done so far. So
I know, because it's a big concern. The expense of the landslide, I know that you released at the city council meeting on March 17th, in the last 4 years is, $64+ million.
Correct.
And, we only have so much money to go around, and the city has a lot of other things that they need to fund, but you're on it. And overall, since the state of emergency at the March 17th meeting, you did extend, once again, continue. It's been going on since October of 2023. So we're 2 years in, the emergency continues. Why the need to keep that emergency going?
We just need to make sure that we address the problem because we still have the disaster that's still going and it's ongoing. And the other part too is we need to be able to be flexible to respond to the situation and just make sure that we have contractors that address the problem that we have. And we have ongoing maintenance and operation. So once we settle the ground and we get the resources we need in perpetuity, then we can go forward and take off the emergency. The good part is just recently we had a New York Times article and an interview that hit. We had it highlighted, which is nationally, and that's important because it puts a spotlight on our city for federal funds as well as Sacramento. So hopefully it puts a dent into some of the conversations that we're having so we can get the resources back to our city.
All right. When you mentioned the landslide subcommittee that was Mayor Pro Tem Steve Harriston that went with our city manager and also Councilmember Dave Bradley. You felt they were successful. Who were they meeting with?
So they were meeting with our federal representatives to include our 2 U.S. senators as well as our congressional representative, Ted Lieu. I think they made good headway. They had great conversations. I'm still cautiously optimistic, but I'm just, making sure that we keep our fingers crossed to get the funding we need. Right.
For the residents watching, we talk about the multiple sources that you would like to access to help fund this, because even though it's RPV's issue with the landslide, so many of the surrounding communities affected. If you drive Palos Verdes, drive south, thousands of people every day to rely on that road and all of that. So, we've got some money from Janice Hahn, right? We've got a grant, some grant monies, but it's far from enough.
Very far from enough. It's a drop in the bucket.
Yes. We're going to talk more about that and the budget and all that coming up. One thing, as we're sitting here at Ladera Linda, Forestall Trails right here, in the wake of the landslide activity, of course, the trails were severely damaged. But the parks and trails, some of the trails are reopening. Do you want to reference where we are with the trail status?
So right now we still have about 20 miles of trails that are still open, and it's beautiful. Like today, we have a beautiful day.
Yeah.
We welcome folks to come and walk the trails, but for safety purposes, we've closed some of the trails in Portuguese Bend as well as the surrounding area to make sure that the landslide doesn't affect the people that are walking. And we just want to make sure that we're good stewards of it. And going forward, we hope we can continue to open them. But right now, there's some areas are still open, but we've closed them. Make sure that certain beaches are closed.
Right, Abalone Cove is still closed, as well as Sacred Cove Beach, Inspiration Point to access there. As we're talking about all the trails, we're sitting here. One of the most popular trails is the Forestall Trailhead right here at Ladera Linda, and it's exciting. That's also been reopened. So city's working hard. The Rangers are working hard. Staff to reopen. And so as we kind of wrap up our landslide conversation, I know the geologist was spoke at the March 17th meeting, you got a report from staff about the latest with the land movement. What are you seeing?
So the good part is, since we don't have rains in the past couple months, it started to decelerate. It bumped up when we had the rains, but luckily we have the deep dewatering wells that are in pumping, especially on the western side and in different districts as well. So we've been doing well. My hope is to get it below an inch or less a week for movement so that SE can come back and turn the lights back on. That's my goal right now.
Yes, I know at one of your coffees, the first coffee you had, one of the residents from the Portuguese Bend community was going on and talked about, like, we need power back.
Correct.
We need Southern California Edison, and I know you're working with utility, which is not easy, so thank you for that. Lastly, there is a landslide tracking tool. So for our residents who want to learn more about the movement, that's really cool. Just go on the city website.
City website. So the good thing about it is in the past years, we haven't published the data for the landslide. And now that we have the data at our fingertips, everybody can access all the information, the different heat maps and how the land is moving. So that's a good thing.
All right, we're going to continue talking about revenues in the city, Mayor, because it is budget setting season, goal setting season. Give us an update of how everything's going on with the setting of the 2026-2027 budget.
So the important thing that I think people in our city need to realize is that we do have a balanced budget, but we're very lean. Now, we had to make some decisions about grants and whatnot in Sacramento. So coming in April and May, we're going to have to make hard decisions about what we're going to fund. So we're going to go through and have goals workshops in regards to our capital improvement fund as well as our general fund to see where we need to tighten our belt. I know the city departments through our city manager have been tightening down to make sure that they contribute to the, I guess, not pressuring the revenue per se.
Right.
And they've been helping out in terms of getting us the numbers we need to make sure that we stay afloat.
Of course, our community can go on our city website and just go on the finance department. We're so transparent about everything going on, how we're spending our money, and this community can get involved in the process. You'll have 2 more workshops coming up. I don't know if you want to reference those. I think there's one April 20th. That would be a general fund workshop.
Correct.
And then the other one's on May 4th, which is the CIP workshop.
Yeah.
So
all of our meetings are public. So if you guys want to come out and everyone wants to put down some information or give input to the city council in regards to what you care about in terms of the budget, we'd love to hear from you, and the meetings are always open.
Right, and of course you're setting the budget, and you're also at the same time looking at city goals. Over the years I've worked with the city, I think it's been amazing how the councils have sort of streamlined the goal process and the goals. You can have, especially if you put all these goals out there, but you're not really achieving them. But this city is getting a lot done.
Even though we're lean, we're getting a lot done, which is great. And our city staff is amazing, so we're doing a pretty good job. Public
safety, of course, is always a number one goal of the city. The city has been working with the neighboring communities on adopting a multi-jurisdictional hazard mitigation plan. At the March 17th meeting, you got staff reviewed the plan. It's being adopted. It's moving forward. Just talk about what this plan's all about.
Sure, it's a mouthful. It's a hazard mitigation plan. That's basically how you got to think about it. And then what we did was we onboarded some consultants in cooperation with other cities on the peninsula to make sure that we identify the risks here on the peninsula and how we mitigate those, right? How we plan for them to include droughts, floods, earthquakes, landslides, fires. So we're thinking about the issues, the bad issues on the peninsula and addressing them and figuring out how we're going to mitigate them. And there's over 105 mitigation, measures that we have. And that plan is going to go through us, the city council, and eventually to Cal OES and to the governor's office.
And then it goes to FEMA as well for final approval. And the fact that this strategy this year with this plan, which is required, right? So we can get grant funding for hazard grant funding. We worked with all 4 peninsula cities as well as our city's 2 geologic hazard abatement districts. So the process was pretty amazing. There was a lot of having to work together, and that's always good.
It's a collaborative effort, and it takes a lot of input from all the cities because everybody has different needs, and it's good hearing from everyone to include the public about what they care about and what we should address. So it's a pretty comprehensive plan going forward.
Right. Since we're on the topic of public safety, 2 things. Number one, I think it's fantastic that we see the Lomita Sheriff's Department at every city council meeting giving a report to the community to know what they're concerned about, what are the trends, what we need to be aware about of residents with crime. I don't know if you want to just give a highlight or 2 about what you've heard this past month from the Captain Guerrero and her team.
So LASD is doing a great job. We contract with them for folks who don't know, but we do get a briefing now at every meeting. So it's either from a deputy or the captain herself. And the good part that we're pretty proud of is crime in general is down. Now, the two issues that we have here in our city is vehicular burglaries. And vehicular burglaries include having your door open or unlocked and somebody going and lifting that handle up and going through your car. And the other part that we're worried about is fraud.
Right.
So when I say fraud, specifically check fraud and check washing. And we've had an issue at the Postal Service or the post office. A lot of checks went missing. So what we did is we elevated that issue to our federal representatives, because we don't handle it at the county level or the city level. And we're trying to get them to put some pressure on them to do the investigations to figure out why it's been increasing. So we put a spotlight on that to address the problem.
And the check washings with the Peninsula Post Office.
That's correct.
Right. We actually, my family had that happen to us.
Oh, no.
With the check that was written to the IRS, that was picked up, and a day later we got a call from the bank saying 2 checks have come in for the total of the 1 check, which was really interesting. So it was all resolved, but you know, you don't think it'll happen to you, it happens to you. So I'm glad that you're on it.
Just as a public service announcement, if you're going to do anything, tax season is definitely coming up now, April 15th. So let's make sure, if possible, to do it online, and then also put insurance on whatever you're sending.
Yep.
Don't just send it in an envelope, and just be proactive and vigilant about how you do your transactions.
Yeah, well, thank you for that. And thank you for being on it with our law enforcement and all the crime suppression efforts that are happening, including where our city has a reimbursement program, a public safety, you can pick up a camera system for your neighborhood, you know, that all this to layer for protection. I just wanted to remind residents about how that program works.
Yeah, so if you get Ring cameras or cameras in general, that you can get a subsidy from the city.
Yep.
And I believe the max out is $2,500 and a 50% matching, I believe. But it's still ongoing. And so if you want to secure your household and have cameras up and Ring cameras, please go to the city website, inquire about it. And if you can't find it, please let me know as well. Or email me, and we can get you the information to get squared away. And
those camera systems have been really incredible in assisting our law enforcement for crime prevention, whether it's to stop a crime or to help them solve a crime.
Very much so.
So thank you for that. I want to go back on the fact, earlier in the show, you mentioned how we had a delegation that went to Washington, D.C. to talk about funding for landslide, but also on the table is what is going on with the Coast Guard property known as Battery Barns surrounding City Hall. We're working really hard to obtain that property, working with the federal government, and the delegation had reported progress being made. Talk about that, getting that Battery Barns property and the idea of putting the Wayfarers Chapel and rebuilding it there.
Yeah, so we have Battery Barns, which is a Coast Guard property in the city, and it's federal property, so it doesn't belong to our city. It's next to City Hall. That specific piece of property, we've been trying for a long time, for years, trying to get it converted over or divested to the city. And our subcommittee that we previously mentioned that was in Washington, D.C. had great conversations, and the Coast Guard is willing to do it. Now, we don't know what the process looks like, so we're optimistic of having it transferred over. But the good part is the plan is to have Wayfarers Chapel, which is taken down now, basically co-locate or locate to the site where it is, with sweeping views, and it's beautiful. So hopefully we can get that there.
It couldn't, you know, it was tough as it was and hard for all of us to watch Wayfarers Chapel when the landslide impacted that property to the point that they had to take it apart, but they did it in the nick of time because it's a historic monument that can be preserved. Correct. And what an ideal location to have it overlooking the city. And there's a lot of plans, obviously, in the work to actually do a beautiful campus. There could be a restaurant there. There could be a museum there. All this, but it's going to take time. So for people that are interested in following this topic, obviously, they go on the city website and also, check in with Wayfarers. I know the organization as well. They're working with you too. So
yeah, just to clarify, there is a historical designation.
Yes.
Which is very important because it helps us in establishing it on city property.
Yes, that Frank Lloyd Wright Jr. design was incredible.
Correct.
Well, thanks for that. And so we're going to move on to some more exciting news. The RPV Community Foundation that has been in the works to form is moving forward. And the council, you held your first board meeting on the same night. You had a busy night on March 17th.
Yeah, we did.
Before the council meeting, you had the first the foundation's board meeting. How'd that go and what was accomplished?
So before our city council meeting, we had a foundation meeting, which consisted of the board chairs and the board of directors, excuse me. So I'm the board chair. The city council is the board of directors, and it's the RPV Community Foundation. The reason why we set this up was so that we can get donations for the city, so that in the future, if a donor wants to come in to establish their name and give to the city, they can do so, and it helps the city as well going forward with donations.
Right, we need money.
We definitely need money.
We do. You know, we're talking about we need more revenues in the city, but we also need more volunteers out there. The residents are great. They are on our city's various boards and committees. but there's vacancies on every one. So talk about that. The application to apply is April 27th. So I know that's how you got your start, was on a committee.
That's how I got my start. I started on the Civic Center Advisory Committee. So in our city, we have this unique problem having very qualified individuals always try to volunteer. We can't take everyone, but we do have openings for our Civic Center Advisory Committee, Emergency Planning, Planning Commission, basically the whole list right now. So
there's about 20 vacancies on the various boards, as well as there's additional on our Youth Advisory Committee.
Correct.
And that's been tremendous, the new committee, to get our youngsters involved. So, go on the city website for applying.
Please do.
And make it happen. And we would love to see you at all these committee meetings. And like you're saying, there's, planning, traffic, finance, infrastructure, the Civic Center, emergency preparedness, and you don't have to have a background in any of these areas just to be interested.
Correct. You don't have to have a background. As long as you have a serving heart, we're willing to take you, and hopefully we get a lot of volunteers signing up.
Well, there's going to be a great opportunity for Mayor Seo to recruit volunteers when he hosts his next monthly Coffee with the Mayor. That's going to take place right here at Ladera Linda Community Center and Park. And you started this, and I think it's fantastic that you do the networking you do with the community, hear what they have to say. What came up at your first coffee that I don't know if there's any new topics that you didn't think you were going to hear, or just...
The biggest part was to make sure that people had accessibility, because at a city council meeting, you get 2-3 minutes to talk about a specific topic that's on the agenda. I just wanted to give them a very informal setting environment so that they can talk about the issues. And some of the issues that they wanted to know about was what we're doing in the future in the city, the landside issues. Sometimes I had side conversations about the schools, cell phone reception, the electrical grid, what's happening in Portuguese Bend. So we had a myriad of topics, but it's important that we address them and they have good conversations with folks that understand what's going on.
And I know you keep bringing up at the council meetings that we ran out of mugs at your first one, but we won't run out of coffee mugs this time that, really help to, celebrate RPV.
Correct.
So get an RPV mug. You're always busy, whether you're here doing a coffee, out and about in the community, meeting with homeowners. And you also celebrated our staff. It was Employee Appreciation Day. How'd that go? Everybody,
that went very
time to meet with the staff to hear what they have to say.
Yeah, our employees and our staff, our city staff, are absolutely amazing. And this city would not be running as well as it is without you guys. So I just showed up to make sure that I show my appreciation and love for you guys.
Well, we appreciate that. And then, of course, at every meeting, you are always honoring members of the community and organizations and just recognizing, I think at one of the meetings in March, you had the people that own Golden Cove, which is where you had your first coffee. So we really depend on this community, and I'm glad you're recognizing.
We want to make sure that we highlight the businesses in our city, as well as emphasizing what we're trying to do in Western Avenue Corridor.
Right.
So we still have the grant program.
Yep.
The deadline is April 30th. It's still up. We do matching funds. If you want to do a facelift for your business, please apply. It's a pot of money that's be very well spent.
Yeah, the Western Ave Storefront Grant Program has been super successful. I mean, you can see the difference on Western Ave, how the city's worked really hard to beautify, and there's a lot of great new businesses, a lot of great places to go eat.
Yeah.
Yeah, we caught the mayor eating his pizza at Pacini's, and yeah.
I had a nice pepperoni pizza.
As we wrap it up here, because I know you're going to get ready to go to your coffee, mayor's and extra mayor's announcements. It's a busy time. Springtime is here. We got Whale of a Day.
Whale of a Day. April 11th is one of our flagship events. It's going to be awesome. Hopefully the weather holds up.
Yeah.
We have beautiful weather like today. And please come out, enjoy with the family, and make sure that you talk to your community and members and other friends as well.
Of course, it's April 11th from 10 to 4. And to get there, the best way is you go to City Hall and Park.
Correct.
And they have shuttle service that's running. Seems like Whale of a Day. This is the 41st. Not only is it getting bigger and better, we got the 100th anniversary of the Point Vicente Lighthouse next door. Come get a tour of the lighthouse as well as visiting Whale of a Day. That lighthouse is just unreal.
It's beautiful.
Right? And we have that in our community. And you see the lens in the museum. The lens from the original lens of the lighthouse is on display at our lighthouse, along with our lighthouse. It's a display in the museum, along with now this 100th anniversary lighthouse swag. They're selling at the Point Vicente Interpretive Center.
I need to go pick some
You
up.
need a new hat that has the lighthouse on it. And then the mayor will always be saying, "My light's on." No.
Maybe we should put that on the hat.
Yeah, there you go. Anything you want to add? Again, I can't thank you enough as a resident for what you're doing for our community. We have a lot going on, but it seems like the staff is really, and the council together, making it happen.
Yeah, I just want to give a shout out to the staff, and our staff is absolutely amazing compared to everyone else that I see.
Yeah.
And I'm very thankful for them working extremely hard to make things happen in our city. So.
Okay, we're going to wrap it up here at Ladera Linda Community Park. You're going to run off with coffee with the mayor. I'm definitely ready for a cup of coffee.
Yes, very much so.
And thanks for all you're doing. Tune in every month for the mayor's update here on RPV City Talk. I'm Liz Brown Swanson with Mayor Sayo. Make it happen, and we are RPV together.